And today, I'm going a little further, and I'm going to take Francesca off the network entirely. So you won't see her on any of the TYT shows going forward.
Ana Kasparian and Francesca Fiorentini have been beefing for quite a while now, as Ana Kasparian has turned more towards common sense and kind of forced Cenk Uygur to also do the same. Francesca Fiorentini, who also works for the Young Turks, or used to work for the Young Turks, took offense to that and didn't like the fact that they were going outside of the left-wing echo chamber. So Francesca Fiorentini started to attack Ana Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, and the other people at the Young Turks who were following what Ana was doing. And now Ana's comments about Francesca Fiorentini seemingly has forced Cenk Uygur to choose between the two. And of course, Cenk Uygur is going to choose Ana Kasparian over Francesca because Ana Kasparian, has been with the Young Turks for longer, brings in more money, etc. Let's first see what Ana Kasparian had to say about Francesca, and then we're going to see what Cenk Uygur has to say about the firing of Francesca Fiorentini.
An issue is this mass deportation camps, the gulags have begun, etc. Now look, I think that the clip that Francesca's using is misleading and totally out of context, but that's okay. But I know that—
No, it's not okay. No, it's not okay. That dishonesty is not okay.
Yeah,
but continue, go ahead.
I hear you, I don't mean to
but she's getting the likes that she wants, right? Otherwise, I mean, who would pay attention to anything she's doing if she's not attacking TYT? But anyway, continue, Cenk.
Yeah, all right.
And that type of clip has happened over and over again from Ana Kasparian and Francesca Fiorentini, where they just go at each other, and you can tell they just absolutely hate each other. So that forced Cenk Uygur to make this video right here.
Recently, Francesca Fiorentini asked us at TYT to take her podcast, Habituation Room, off the network, and we happily agreed to that. And today, I'm going a little further, and I'm going to take Francesca off the network entirely. So you won't see her on any of the TYT shows going forward. So I want you guys to know why I'm doing that and how this whole situation isn't really about Francesca. It's about TYT, our community, and what we stand for. And so we're for open minds and open hearts. And so I want all of you to know that, and I want to build a community that believes in that and invites people in that believe in the same things. And by the way, if you don't believe in the same things and you say, no, I have a strict ideology and I have no open mind about that, no problem. There are tons of shows out there for you guys. So first of all, we've had some disagreements. I certainly have with some of the far left, but I think they've been relatively small. But if you think that they've been large, no problem. So they've been around the issue of crime. Did crime rise between 2019 and 2023? Well, that's a fact, it did. But it's okay, we could have different interpretations of it, that's not an issue at all. We certainly are against police abuse and we've fought against it. I would argue at least as much as any show on the planet and perhaps a lot more. And I take great pride that Benjamin Crump, among others, said that Trayvon Martin would not have gotten anywhere near the national coverage that he did if it wasn't for the Young Turks. So nevertheless, we could have disagreements about specific policy issues, and we do on slogans and framing, etc. For example, defund the police, Latinx. These are normal disagreements within any community. And I certainly would never want to shut that down because we're, again, for open minds. And of course, we've had some disagreements on the issue of transgender rights.
But Francesca Fiorentini is part of that group of people that doesn't allow you to have disagreements. She's one of those people that she's like the David Pakman or Destiny or Hassan Piker, those sorts of people where if you step outside of the left-wing echo chamber, they don't like you, they disown you, they shun you from the group. You're not part of the group anymore. And it's a weird situation because Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian, they co-own. I know Cenk Uygur owns more, but Ana Kasparian is a part owner of the Young Turks, so they're her boss. So she's in a weird situation where she can't disown them. She can't shun them. She has to quit / get fired from the Young Turks. And it ended up happening. We all could see it coming from a mile away. I thought that this was going to happen with Ana Kasparian a while ago, but then Cenk Uygur just started to kind of succumb to the exact thought patterns that Ana Kasparian had also gone down. Cenk Uygur is just kind of following in Ana Kasparian's footsteps. Maybe it's because he genuinely had an awakening, or maybe he just sees that that's where the money is at now. It's kind of convenient, in my opinion, that he started to go this direction, kind of after the 2024 election, where you could tell the tide was turning, because on election night, the guy was on Patrick Bet-David's podcast live and basically had tears rolling down his face because he was so mad that Donald Trump won the election. And now all of a sudden he's like, you know, he's falling down the same thought patterns as Ana Kasparian. I find it pretty convenient, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he's being legit.
Just say quickly what my position is, because a lot of people outside of the network have been misleading you about this. So I'm for 100% constitutional rights for transgender Americans, because why? They're Americans just like the rest of us, and they should have the same exact rights as us. They should be protected in bathrooms. They should definitely be allowed to serve in the military. And I happen to think that they should be allowed to play, transgender girls should be allowed to play in girls sports in high school. Now, my position on that is not overall popular in the country. I understand that, and I have a strategy for hopefully how to win on that in the long run. But I don't believe that they should be mandated to play in college and professional level. I think the league should get to make those decisions on their own. I think that that is a small disagreement. Obviously, others think that's a giant disagreement, but that's, again, not the issue here. I think what the issue is when others, among the issues, is when others say only my opinion is the correct one, the moral one. Everyone who disagrees with me is unintelligent, immoral, collaborator, etc. Well, we'll get to the specifics on Francesca in a second. I'm saying that generally. And that they speak for the left. Well, let's find out if they do speak for the left. This is a little bit of Francesca, a little bit of Emma Vigeland from Majority Report, and spliced in is the actual facts about what the American people think, and interestingly, what Democratic voters think. First, let's watch this.
I'm a big Messi fan, but let me just explain this.
Answer my question. Would you allow him, if he said I'm a woman, to play in the American women's national team?
You're using the wrong pronoun
Yes, right now. Hell yeah, are you kidding me?
Transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports.
Your argument is really bad on this, and you're out of your depth. You're correct that trans women should be able to compete in women's sports, but your argument for it is just scientifically and factually incorrect. I'm actually not bad about this. I'm 100% right on this. I don't give a the scientific explanations. People, if they identify as a woman, get to compete in sports. If that's not fair in the short term for a variety of little competitions, I don't give a
And I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything.
Because the societal interest of including trans people in society trumps stupid competition. Full stop. So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
You'd let Lionel Messi play in the women's national football team and destroy women's football forever. You'd let Usain Bolt.
It'd be very difficult to get a ticket, which would suck.
I want to do a little checklist here. You'd let Usain Bolt compete as a sprinter in the American women's Olympic team?
Yes.
Okay, you would let Floyd Mayweather compete as a boxer in the women's American.
But here's the reality of this, though. As ridiculous as this is coming from Francesca Fiorentini, and we all know it's ridiculous. Anybody with common sense knows this is really stupid of her to say. She doesn't believe this. If she really cared about sports and women's sports and things like this, which I don't give a shit about women's sports. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care. The only time where I start to care is like, you know, when it comes to combat sports and people can really get hurt. Dude, I think it'd be absolutely hilarious if Messi just identified as a woman and just went and just destroyed the entire league. He literally could play 1v11 in every single soccer game and just destroy everything. So I think that'd be hilarious, to be honest with you. But Francesca Fiorentini doesn't actually believe this. She just knows this is what she's supposed to say to contribute to the left-wing echo chamber. This is what makes her money. If she continues to say things like this, she knows she makes more money. It's just audience capture. It's so simple. She knows that the more and more woke that she gets, the more and more woke her takes become, the more money she gets, the bigger her audience gets, and etc. So she's just going to continue down this path and always be this way. Just how it's always going to be.
Boxing team.
Opposing them in women's sports. You get 67% of Democrats, so 2/3 there. You get 64% of independents, so you get about 2/3 there.
So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
Okay, generally speaking, if you want to say that you're right about something, sure, everybody has their own opinions and it's their opinions. That's why they think that they're right. It's another thing to say that you speak for the left. As you just saw there, 67% of Democrats have a position that is actually to the right of mine. I say that trans girls should be allowed to play in girls' sports in high school. 67% of Democrats say no, not allowed in any women's sports. So I'll work on my Democratic brothers and sisters, and I'll try to get them to my position on that. Nothing wrong with disagreements. And if Emma, Francesca, and others can convince 79% of the nation that is opposed to that to come over to that side, fantastic, happy to have it, okay? So I think where the issue comes in is when things get personal. So we got 3 rules, generally speaking, on air here at TYT that are relatively bright lines. So one is, and I say relative, I'll explain that in a second. One is no lying, 2 is no threats of physical violence, and number 3 is don't denigrate personally the other hosts in the network over and over and over again. And I say relatively bright lines because it should be relatively easy to follow, but I get that people have disagreements about, hey, what's a lie? Are what they say about crime stats a lie or not? No, I'm not gonna nitpick that. And
yeah, but that's not what Francesca Fiorentini's doing, right? That's not what any of these people are doing. Francesca, David Pakman, none of these people, that's not what they're doing. They're taking objective facts and saying, no, I just don't agree with those objective facts. They're taking objective statistics, like you saw Emma Vigeland do, and she's like, I don't care about the science. What I say goes. I am right, not the science, not the research, not the statistics. What I say goes. My emotions run my life. But the left-wing echo chamber controls what I say. That's all it is, man. And I'm glad, honestly. Not that I want Francesca Fiorentini to go broke or anything like that, but I'm glad that the Young Turks have taken this stance of we are not going to be aligned with people who not just disagree with us, but who are not open to the discussions, right? Who are not even open to disagreeing cordially and having the conversations. Be willing to be proven wrong, right? Francesca Fiorentini is just not willing to be proven wrong because you could give her explicit facts and she's like, oh no, I don't agree with that. That's not, my emotions don't agree with that. So therefore I'm right, you're wrong. Your facts are wrong. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think about Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian getting Francesca Fiorentini fired from the Young Turks network. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian versus Francesca Fiorentini situation.